Guys, I just finished making this beautiful teardrop crystal anklet. Look at the shine on that. I'd love for you guys to go ahead and watch how I did it. So guess what? Let's go. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Be Chic DIY. Today we are going to be working on our clear crystal and gold teardrop anklet. Here's a copy of the work order. So go ahead and make a list of all the parts that you need. You can pause and play this video. And so the very first thing we're going to need is our black nylon coated stainless steel wire string. And if you've watched any of the previous videos, you'll know I love using the string because it's super durable and it protects against sweat and rust. So it's really a very like a waterproof, weatherproof type of string to use, especially when you're wearing it on your ankle or on your wrist and it's against the skin. And now this particular anklet is going to consist of the parts that you see here. Okay, we have these 3mm or 2mm little teeny tiny crystal rondelles, some spacers, bigger crystal rondelles, and some striped silver balls. And then our main feature will be this teardrop wire wrapped charm. So it is hand wire wrapped by us, and it is a sparkling, beautiful teardrop crystal. So first thing we need to do is go ahead and let's open up our rondelle anklet. The work order calls for 40 of these crystals, and because I already know the pattern of this particular design is going to require half of these crystals on one side of the anklet and half on the other, I can divide 40 by 2, which gives me 20 on each side. So the very first thing I want to string on is our end bead, which is this striped gold tone ball and one of our gold tone daisy spacers. Then I want to go ahead and string on 20 of these little itty bitty ones. And so what I like to do is just keep it on the string and just count by 5. So I've got 5 there. Go ahead and do another 5. So that brings our total up to 10. Okay, another 5. 4. 15. And then our last 5 for 20. All right. And now what I really like about these crystals is that they have what we call an AB coat. And an AB coat gives it that extra sparkle, gives this aurora borealis. That's what AB stands for, is aurora borealis. So like the northern lights, it gives this very sparkly, iridescent shine to them, almost like oil on top of water. It's a light rainbow finish. It's so pretty. All right, and now that we've got our 20 strung on, let's go ahead and move on to the rest of our pattern, which is going to require a striped ball, a a gold tone daisy, and now we're moving on to our 8mm crystal rondelles. Same effect, they have an AB coat on them, they're just a little bit bigger. That's going to require 3, and then this pattern just requires what I like to call the sandwich, which is a daisy, a ball, and a daisy. All right, then another 3. And another sandwich. So daisy, striped ball, and daisy. And then one more set of 3. Okay, so this pretty much completes half of the pattern of the anklet here. As you can see, 20 crystals. Then we have 3 6mm crystals separated with some sandwiches. And now it's time to put on our charm. The really great thing about this anklet is that it's a simple pattern. This pattern here now repeats on the opposite end as a mirror, a complete mirror. So at this point, guys, I think it'll be safe for us to go ahead and do some lightning speed. Ready, set, go. And here we are. There is our finished pattern. Isn't that beautiful? It's so sparkly and it's so chic. And so what we really need now is to go ahead and tie off these charms, or I'm sorry, this anklet. And so what we'll need to do is get a couple of our crimp beads ready to go. And as you can see, I already have the crimp beads here, and then I've got the clasp, and I've also got the extender chain. So now it's just a matter of putting it all together. So let's do it. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and get our crimp bead. Just go ahead and string it on just like that. Then we're going to go ahead and get our clasp. And actually, before we string that on, we always need to make sure that our clasp is working. There you go. You can see it's working. So let's go ahead and put on our clasp, fold over that string, restring that crimp bead onto both the tail and the main string like so. And let's go ahead and bring up a few buddies over here to join that crimp bead. We'll go ahead and restring this striped ball, the daisy, and then just a few of the crystals right behind it, just like that. And let's move it on up. We're going to move that on up, leaving about a millimeter or two gap right there. And then we're just going to get our flat nose pliers and crimp down on that crimp bead, just like that. You see? And then let's flip it over, crimp it again for good measure. There you go. And then we're going to go ahead and bring all the other beads to join as brothers and sisters on the other side. And what I like to do is just go ahead, instead of cutting that tail string, I like to go ahead and just hide that tail string with the other beads, just like that. Now, some people ask, well, why don't you just cut it? The problem with just cutting it too soon, if you don't hide it with the other beads, is that you run the risk of having some of your tail strings stick out of your anklet, and then that ends up rubbing up against your ankle, and it causes it to get irritated and itchy. So that's why we hide it. Now let's go ahead and repeat on the other side. We're going to cut. Let's get our crimp bead just like that. And I already have our extender chain fastened onto a gold tone jump ring just like that. We're going to string on the jump ring like we did with the clasp on the other side, fold over that string, and let's go ahead and rethread the crimp bead onto the tail and the mane, that striped ball, that spacer, along with a few beads. Okay, just like that. All right. Now, the only difference here is we're not going to bring this all the way up close like we did on the last one. We're actually going to pull things down a bit, and I'm going to show you why. You see that gap? We need to close that gap. And the way you do that is you go and get your round nose pliers like this. You insert it into that loop and you crimp down. Okay? Then you let go of this and you just isolate the tail string by itself. So go ahead and grip onto the tail string by itself like so. And then you're just going to pull. Okay? Do you see how that happened? I pulled, and by pulling I was able to tighten up so there's no gap in that anklet now. And now I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of wiggle around with it to make sure I get a good tight finish on the end of that. And then I release. I release that round nose plier, and this is ready to be crimped. All right, let's flip it around for good measure. And there we go. Now you can go ahead and cut your tail. And you want to make sure you get up in there really good against that crystal. You don't want to snap the main line. You just want to go ahead and get that tail, but you want to get right against that flush side of the crystal, okay, and snap it off. Cut that part off. So that way you can make sure that tail is not sticking out, you see? So you don't have to worry about any itchy ankles. All right, guys, that pretty much sums it up. This is our sparkling crystal AB teardrop anklet. Isn't she a beauty? Look at that. Guys, I really hope you had fun making this with me like I did with you. If you found enjoyment out of this video, please, guys, go ahead and like this video and then do me one better. Go ahead and share it with your friends and family. We are building our community, and every share, every like, every comment, that's another one. Comments help me tremendously. They let me know what I'm doing good, what I'm doing bad, what I could do better. I'm all ears. We are all growing together. So guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you on the next one. But don't forget, be chic, be happy, and be inspired. Thank you so much. Love you.